Today we're going to be going over lesson 8 of Codivate's web development lesson. It's going to be a review of HTML and CSS. It's a very comprehensive review of everything we've learned for the past 8 weeks. And it's basically just a bunch of practice problems, so we're going to get a lot of practice done today. And so if you remember, last week we started to work on our website and we added a navigation menu and a hobby section for content. But for this lesson, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to provide small exercises so that we can review and practice what we've done last class and pretty much for all of the previous classes in general. I suggest that you open up a new HTML file and CSS file and we can get ready to practice. So these are all the topics we covered. We covered HTML structure, which includes the HTML body, article, and footer tags, how to create text using different tags, using the p tag or header tags, how to create forms and data tables using input tags, submit buttons, things like that. We can access color values like the Rgba and hexadecimal values and experimenting with different colors and see what fits our web page. The box model, which includes box border, margin, and padding. These 3 properties are pretty much used throughout like web development, and they're very extremely helpful when organizing content. Flexbox and centering content. So Flexbox is also very useful, and it helps lay out the structure of our website. We can create 2 columns. We can organize our navigation bar. Things like that, and Flexbox is super helpful when you get into different layouts for your website. So today we're going to be going over, like I said before, different problem sets, and for this I'm going to actually be using a separate HTML file. So over here, I'm just going to go through each problem, and just like before, what I usually do is if you right click, and if you have the CSS or the package downloaded, if you go to your extensions and search up live server, you can access like the web page or the output right then and there, and it automatically updates it for you. So I suggest downloading this just like last time, and it's super helpful. So I'm gonna go back here. So the first question in our problem set is meta chart set equals what? So this can be found in the head tag of our HTML file, and as you can see here, we're using the chart set UTF-8. So the answer to that one would be UTF-8. This would be a link to Google Fonts. Okay, this is gonna be added later. And for number 2, correct the error the p tag I'm SpongeBob. So the ending tag should have a front slash next to it. So over here, it's pretty much the same thing, except you would have this front slash. So that's really important. And something really cool about VS Code, if you type in the letter P, press enter, it automatically creates that for you. Question 3 was to put your name in the header in all the different header tags and see how it lays out. So as you can see here, I put my name in all of these header tags, and if you view the output by right-clicking, open it with live server, you can see here that there's a bunch of different is in a bunch of different font sizes, and that's pretty much the difference between all the headers. Let's go back to our code. Question 4 is to make a comment that it's that this is saying your name, and yeah, there you go. If you press Control front slash, it automatically generates that. So that's something cool that you can do. You could also just put this at the top over here. I just want to organize it like this. For question 5, when should you indent to make a new line? You should indent to make a new line when you have nested elements. So as you can see here, we made a new line, we indented because our li element is inside of our ul element, so it's nested. And these are all of its children, and this is the parent, so you would have to have an indent here. It helps a lot with organization. Question 6, so we put a bunch of white space next to each other. Like, we could have added more, but what would happen to the code? So no matter what, it's gonna print out next to each other despite the extra white space. So over here, as you can see, they're pretty much next to each other, so that's good. That's like exactly what we want. Question 7 refers to write a sentence about why you took this course in a paragraph tag. Italicize your reason and bold the first word. So I would be bolded, and I enjoy programming, that would be italicized. Question 8 is to write the keyword shortcut. So type the exclamation mark. If you type the exclamation mark here, press enter, it generates all of your boilerplate code. So for number 9, we're making an ordered list of our morning routine. As you can see here, we use the OL tag and a bunch of list elements, and if you look back at your code, it presents you an OL tag with a bunch of list elements, and as you can see, they're pretty much numbered. For the second one, it's a similar process, but we have these bullets, and that's created because of the UL tag, which is a little bit slightly different. Question 11 is make a description list of all the information from a book. And this is basically how you do it. You have a DL for a data list, and then data table over here, and the actual data here. So Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Over here we have a nav tag for all of our nav elements. As you can see, we have a UL and then an A tag inside for each of our references. Obviously these aren't going to work because we haven't created those references yet, but they're just there for reference. Question 13, search up a picture of your favorite image or favorite game or TV show, copy the image address and use the image tag to make the image appear. So we have an image and we put this the image address in the source attribute. And then over here we have alt Pac-Man, so that's a picture of Pac-Man. I also added a class image just so that I can set the width over here, just in case the picture was really big. So as you can see, this is a really small image. Or I just made the size a little bit smaller. The next part is to make a 2-column section that has your name on the left column and your, question 14. Question 14 is up here. Try to make the navigation bar you made and remove the bullets that appear. So over here we use list style none to remove these black bullets that would appear here. So we remove that, and then we would use display inline block to make them align on the same line. So yeah, they're all going to be on the same line over here, unlike these where it's kind of on different lines. So that's helpful. Then we use Flexbox to justify to have some space in between by doing a space around, so justify content space around, which is going to add some margins towards the end and in between. We're going to use align item center to center it within the container element, and obviously add some padding just for show. Number 16 is to create a 2-column section that has your name on the left column and something you really want to for Christmas on the right column. In our index.html over here we have our container, which we definitely need for Flexbox, and we would have 2 sections inside, so your name for one and whatever you want for Christmas for another one. Over here we would use our container, we would use a display flex property to use this property to create our 2-column content. We would assign flex1 to both values, and since they both have the values of flex1, it's going to be equal in width. Text align center to center the text. Height 100 pixels just to show what the column looks like. And we would assign a background color to one of the sections. And as you can see here in our code, we have kind of 2 columns. They do look weird, but it's okay for now. So yeah, one column should have a darker background color or a light background color, and the other one should have none. For the next section, we are going to. So we've done most of these. So So make the background color of one of the containers using an Rgba format. So Rgba is a little bit different from hexadecimal, in that you would choose like whatever value from the given value. So here. So you could just type in background color Rgba and then whatever color you want. Make sure the alpha value as a opacity is 0.5. You can go here and then change it to anything you want, but I suggested a light color. So if you want it to be like a nice pink, that would work too. And as you can see, our name is now like a pinkish color. The next section is to create an empty div tag and to style it so that it looks like a circle. So over here, we create a div class equals circle, and by styling this, to style this, we would give it a width and height of 100 pixels, so a fixed width and height, and then we would give a border radius of 50%. Then we would add a background color of RGB, so just a dark red background color, and this property margin 0 auto is going to center it exactly in the middle of the page. So this is really helpful for centering things. And as you can see, this is exactly in the middle, so that's good. Something else that was interesting is that if you want to test out different fonts, I suggest that you use this Google Fonts and then scroll through some of your favorite fonts and press select this style on the right, and it'll give you some code to paste into the head section of your HTML. So as you can see here, there's a bunch of different fonts. I suggest that you copy the regular 400 font and then use this link over here to copy and paste into the head tag. Good job! So we've pretty much intensively reviewed all the material we covered since the beginning of the course. And since this course is really fast, good job, we're really close to mastering HTML and CSS. We needed to make a simple website. Also over here, as you can see, this is kind of like what the import statement looks like. You would have a link, href equals the link to Google Fonts over here. And then over here, you can add all the different fonts to your HTML. This document will definitely be sent out to you guys in the Discord server, so make sure to check that out. And as you can see in our display, there's slight variations among these, but they are different fonts. And these are pretty much one of the most, like, the most common ones that you'll see. So yeah, I suggest experimenting with different fonts. It's really fun to play around with, and there's a ton of them out there. So if you search up Google Fonts, right, and then you go to Google Fonts, you see which ones are there. There's tons and tons, so you can try out different combinations of fonts, whichever one's best. I would stick to one or two per web page. It's really helpful. Alright, so that's it for today's lesson. So this presentation is owned by Codivate. If you have any questions, make sure to email team@codivate.org or ask in the Discord server. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much and have a great day.